In epidemiology, the study of how infectious viruses and diseases spread, there is a concept of R naught or R0, which is a constant that changes based on the type of epidemic and transmission we're talking about. So if the transmission value, if the R naught is 1, that means for every one person who gets that disease or virus or whatever, we'll transmit it to one other person. And so we have a level of stability. And if that value of R naught is less than 1, that means for every one person who gets it, fewer and fewer people will get it until that infectious disease ultimately dies out. And so the bubonic plague back in the day had an estimated R naught value of about 1.5 to around 1.7. So that means if one person got it, they would transmit it to at least one person plus, or if two people got it, they would transmit it to 3 or potentially even 4 people. So that is the reason why this thing was able to spread and wipe out a lot of Europe. And we'll bring this back to the idea of marketing and to growing a dental practice, because today, if we want to grow a practice or any sort of business, what we really have to do is first work on the R naught of our business, of your practice, before we do any of the work of things like advertising or raising visibility. Because all that stuff is great, but if we are bringing more patients in by paying for advertising, by putting time and energy into outreach, just to get people into a system, which is your practice, that is ultimately leaking, meaning that the number of patients will always deteriorate over time, and so you have to put that energy and time into bringing people in, then we have a very inefficient system. And a better approach would be to work on increasing the R naught value of our practice, so that whenever we bring one person in, they're bringing another person or 2 people, right? And so that is the foundation of a thriving practice, a thriving business. And so my argument is that we need to prioritize building the R naught of our practices more than we need to focus on the actual acquisition of patients first. So what does that look like? What does increasing R naught look like? And there are many, many layers to this and many, many things we need to do in order to improve it. But it is a gradual process. It is a process that if you implement things gradually, you will see the improvements gradually, which is one of the reasons why I urge people to work on this starting now, because the methods that we see for actual acquisition are eroding in terms of effectiveness, and they're getting very cost ineffective. All right, so what does it look like? Well, it starts with understanding who you seek to serve, figuring out what they believe is good, what they believe is better in terms of dentistry, and aligning your practice with their beliefs such that when they come into contact with it, you are able to delight them. And we know that similar people group with similar people, so they are able to tell the similar people who have similar beliefs about what dentistry should look like, and therefore you are able to increase your R naught. And of course, that is a very simplified model, and it's more difficult to do an exercise than it actually is to understand the theory behind it. And so what I urge you to do is to start working on your R naught. Check out the course in the description below. I'll have a link there. It's a completely free course. It'll walk you through all the steps you need to increase that value. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.